So you might be wondering what a versatile heavy tank that can absolutely dominate games might be in a world of tanks, and today we are looking at one of them, and it is one of the most powerful tier 10 heavy tanks that I've played, at least in my own opinion. And of course, down to your own gameplay style it might differ, but this is super strong, and I find it to be one of the better tier 10 heavy tanks in the game. It is the Object 277 for a specific reason, and that is that, yes, although this tank might not have the most armor that you're ever going to see, as you can see, has a decent amount on the turret armor. The hull armor isn't amazing, and it isn't necessarily the strongest armor vehicle, like for example something like an IS-4 that just has better armor overall. It is still pretty decent and you can bounce a lot of rounds, but this tank is a lot faster than the IS-4 and it offers you some extras in terms of its damage potential, its speed, and of course being a little bit more flexible in general than some of the traditional heavy tanks, which is why I wanted to showcase it today, because we've done it recently in one of my kind of top 5 tanks that I enjoy playing and some of the best tanks in the game. Is this the most pinnacle heavy tank that you'll ever get in World of Tanks console? Probably not the most, but it is very good, and in the hands of someone that's been playing the game for any length of time, yeah, this is really strong. But okay, let's have a look at some of the statistics of the vehicle. Why is it so strong? Because we can make unsubstantiated claims, but at least let's have a look. So 0.36 accuracy is what we've got right now. We are running it with vertical stabilizers for the improved accuracy. We are running it with advanced loader for increased DPM, so we want to deal as much damage as quickly as possible with this tank, because yeah, it can be a little bit annoying if you're playing vehicles like this that don't have the damage per minute to keep up with some of the medium tanks in the game. And then we've gone with improved ventilation. Now this is for both the accuracy bonuses, the damage per minute, and the view range that improved ventilation is going to give you. Now, improved ventilation is one of those things where it's just down to whether you want to make the tank more all-round in a lot of different areas, or whether you want to focus it down to play a specific role. For example, maybe swapping out improved ventilation for advanced optics to be able to spot a little bit further is going to be useful for you. Depends on whether you're going for 3 marks, and under my current opinion of the tank, it's not necessarily needed 100% of the time, but it might be worth taking in some instances. So take the setup that we've got as a bit of an initial guide as to what you can use. Now, improved ventilation could also be swapped out for traction system. You might want a bit more speed when you're playing this tank, so you can get up to about 60 kilometers an hour and be even more flexible, move into position, and therefore use that tank in this way. But the current setup that we've got makes it just a very all-round good vehicle that feels really good to play. Now, we'll pop in a commander just so that you know what it's like when you're fully kitted out. And of course, with a 9-skill commander, we'll go with our traditional heavy tank one. And you can see here, it brings us up to very good view range, brings us up to very good DPM as well. So if we jump into the stats, you'll see 3,445 damage per minute with this vehicle. Accuracy's gone down now to 0.3, so very good as well. And you've also got that top speed being quite good. View range is now 476, so not really necessary to use the advanced optics, but it's down to your own personal preference. There are some limitations about this vehicle. You do have 5.5 degrees of gun depression, which can be a bit limiting in some situations, but for the most part it's absolutely fine. You don't really need to worry about that at all, because of the fact that you just have a lot of flexibility with regards to your speed, that you can move into different locations and therefore, you know, negate the need to go into hold down positions where you have to use gun depression, whereas some of the other tanks might be forced to do that because they can't move further forward in the same amount of time because they're not as fast. But in general, Object 277 very strong, 2.2k health, not the highest in the game. As you can see, 300 less than the IS-4 and probably lower end of the heavy tanks at tier 10. But with all that being said, Penetration value is very good. 490 alpha damage makes this tank very good at being able to trade with a lot of tanks, and considering that the reload time you're looking at 8.5 seconds, yeah, it's very good as well. So you can dish out multiple shots, especially against things like E100s, even though, you know, they might have the higher alpha to begin with, they will end up coming off worse as a trade. So that's kind of how we're kitting out the Object 277. So let's have a look at the gameplay, because it is really powerful, and I want to show you what the kind of pinnacle games are like when you play in this tank. And so the game that we have today is on Teepval Ridge. This is one of my more favoured maps, I guess. It's a pretty decent one, to be honest. A lot of different avenues where you can go down, a lot of flexibility on the map because it's big enough that you can, you know, go into different locations during the game. Doesn't feel like you're going to end up, you know, in the same position every single time that you play Teepval Ridge. So there's a little bit of something that you can do, and because it is bigger, you can move around all sorts, which is nice as well. So that's kind of why I like Teepval Ridge. There are some kind of downfalls, which is that the center of the map is kind of pointless, and if you go there, you just get pumped unless you're in the very late game. But even if you're in the very late game, often there'll be TDs that will basically just sit on the hill where I'm aiming right now, and they'll just ruin your day. So yeah, it's very difficult to use the center, but that's where the outskirts of the map and having the speed that this tank has makes this map even better to play. So it's kind of how I enjoy playing this vehicle. So what you see here is a nice little shot on the machine. You can go for the inner drive wheel, you can pen it even from the front, you can pen the side from the front, if that makes sense. So the overmatch mechanics works really well against the 50B hull. And often people will try and aim for the actual hull armor, but you can actually pen through the tracks. So essentially just aim for the armor behind the tracks. It's going to be much better, yeah, as a general rule when you're playing in that. So that's something that I just keep a note of if you're interested in penning machines and stuff like that. A lot easier, and it will mean you basically don't bounce off of them. But with that being said, very slow start to the game, but don't worry, it does get better, it does get more aggressive. I like to stay a little bit more passive on this map, because if you do what our teammate here in the Hawk 12 has done, it could be a little bit scary when tanks might come and YOLO you, especially if they go through like the little ravine where he's at right now. We go for a little speculative shot, not expecting to hit the Earthshaker there on the move, but you never know. Luckily we actually get hit in the turret from the Emil 2, who then pokes and gets absolutely pumped. So nice little 1000 XP there, or 1000 assistance damage, which will give us a bit more XP even. And so there, we've started off the game okay. Now, I would expect to do more damage, but of course we didn't want to push up too early where the, you know, where the CS53 or 63 is. He's going to actually end up being able to get to the side of us, so it's a CS59 even to the tier 9. And yeah, we were just staying very careful in the way that we wanted to approach this game, because you don't want to get absolutely steam hammed. So we now can move up now that the CS59's gone, and that gives us the flexibility to do what we want to do here, and we can start racking up a lot of damage. At least that's the intent of what we're hoping to do. So I'd be interested to see what you guys actually think about the 277, because I see a lot of people were saying, oh, it's not actually that good, it's not, you know, the best in the game, or, you know, stuff like that. But I actually find it is very solid, and I think people underestimate how good this tank can be when it is used in the right way. Now, when we've pushed up to this hill area, it is very good for us to get some kind of free shots in, I guess, on some of these opponents, which is nice. And you can see here VKK from behind, easy shot, end up actually hitting his ammo rack, which is good. And this is exactly what you want when it comes to finding the back of tanks. Just easy as you like. And with shots like this, you really don't have to do anything. You can see me going for the leading shot onto that kind of side bubble kind of area on the side of the tank right here, literally right here. Easy pen if you actually aim for it, and even if they're side scraping, you can do the same thing. So that's kind of how you can get around that tank. And yeah, it's just not, it doesn't take a genius to work it out, but once you know it, you basically can use it forever. and that tank just becomes a little less annoying to come up against. Maybe if it's face hugging you, it can be annoying, but yeah, as soon as you come out from range where you can get a little angle on it, very, very easy to work. Now we go for a shot on the Earthshaker here, easy one, go for the tracking shot as well. Unfortunately no tracking damage to be had, and then we go for a little damage and ram I was hoping to do on the Earthshaker, but you never know. End up not actually being able to do it, which is fantastic, just exactly what you wanted, but there. Anyway, moving swiftly forward, we go for a blind shot on the Earthshaker. He's still up there. In fact, it wasn't an Earthshaker, it was a 268v5 who is now exposing the top of his turret. Of course, the 268 version 5 has a really weak turret, and so you can pen it if you can get any amount of the side of the tank. So it's just one of those where the tank's armor just doesn't really work when it comes to the turret. So you can see me going for the turret here. I can't really see that lower plate very easily. We don't want to hit the upper one and bounce, so just going for the upper kind of armor here, and there you go, easy enemy taken out as well. Now we can push down to the light tank, who isn't going to really be a problem. There's only 3 tanks left in the game, and even if we get taken out here, it's very unlikely given that we're on 2,200 hit points. Not taking a single hit here, but you never know. Anyway, we're going in for the damage anyway. We hit the Manticore on the move, which is lucky, but yeah, it is what it is. I guess we did wait till he actually went directly away from us. Then we're actually aiming in front with our free aim and managed to finish him off. That's why you don't auto aim when people are moving away from you, unless they're moving directly away from you. Now I'd take a fully aimed shot here on the Earthshaker, well basically fully aimed, and of course it didn't hit. So yeah, brilliant. We're going for the tracking shot here with the second shell, picking up 6.9k damage. And we've also got a decent amount of assistance as well with 1,500, and then finish him off there. Not quite reaching 7,000, but still 1,550 assistance, bringing up the grand total of the game to 8,500 combined damage, which is, yeah, pretty good game. And picking up 1,594 base XP as well. So really good one there, and managing to kind of carry, I guess, in the game, even though we were probably going to win anyway. But yeah, 6 minutes and 22 seconds to be able to deal that much damage. Mastery badge there, of course. So that is the 277. Hopefully you guys will understand that this tank is actually super, super good, super strong, and yeah, maybe some of you will try it out and let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to stay tuned, because we have the black tanks coming up that we'll be reviewing for you guys as well. Hopefully you have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.